Is going on, guys? Can everybody hear me? I'm assuming that's a yes. As we hang here on a random Tuesday night. What's up, Paul? For the win, Stephen Clayton Jr., Joe Isabella. I'm reading from the bottom up. Channel member and artist extraordinaire, Paul Mills, my brother from another mother. Good to see you, Paul. Got something to show y'all here in a second. We got Isaiah Barnett in here. Welcome, Isaiah. Good to see you, buddy. Todd Card, good to see you, channel member. I appreciate all you guys stopping by. Craig, good to see you, my man. Who else we got up in here? We got Kevin Smith and Nas. Good to see you, buddy. Channel member, but I don't know if you're a moderator. Hold on a second. Did my mic just tweak out on me? Let's see. Hold on a second. Sorry about that, guys. Y'all learn if this is one of your first lives. Hey, what's up, MPG, EDC, and Neil McKenzie, channel member? What's up, both you guys? Good to see everybody. I know they're different coasts. I've even got a little thing on my watch that I realized it's an Apple Watch. I should have realized years ago. Kathleen Smith, channel member, welcome, sweetheart. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. I can unpin and delete this comment because I didn't know if I was going to be on time. Hope that I would. But yeah. So yeah, man, it's Crazy Roach. What is up? Channel member Ground Fog. We got Marco in here. Guys, I'm expecting it just to be a low-key hang. I appreciate any of y'all being here hanging out. What I thought I'd do is kind of focus on you guys, see what's going on, what everybody's been doing. And then I was going to show off this little knife right here that was sent to me yesterday. And I was going to also break this guy. This is my Giant Mouse Atelier, which I call it the Mini Grand. It's a great knife. I really wanted it. After I bought it, I had a little buyer's remorse because I wished I'd gotten the full titanium, but it's got sling out detent. So what I'm going to do is I thought I'd break it down real quickly, see if I can get my liner. It's a titanium liner, but I was pretty successful with my F5.5. So I just thought we'd try that, do a little science, a little fun, go from there. Steve-O, what is happening, brother? And anybody I missed, I'm stoked y'all are here. I love seeing everybody chatting. That's what it's all about. Everybody hang out, everybody enjoy it. I was going to show y'all some cool stuff that's come in, but I'm sure most of you guys have seen it. And if y'all are like I was when I was actively buying a shit ton of knives, I was always on certain websites. So I used to, when I watched live streams, which I still do, but I like seeing what's coming, what's kind of come, you know, what's out there, right? And I know that there's a really cool knife that I wanted to point out that I'm not a huge automatic guy. And I know a lot of you guys, not a lot of you guys, hopefully most of you can have autos in your state, but this is a really, to me, one that's gotten my attention, and I'm curious what y'all think about it. But hold on, let me see if I can find it. See if it's still in stock. And y'all tell me what you think about it. Because, let's see. The Mordax S45s VN are still in stock. I'm afraid what I'm looking for is not in stock. So I'm going to bring it up. But I will show you guys that these Mordaxes, which is a fantastic knife, one of my favorites, Ferrum Forge, ProTech collaboration, I guess you'd say. It's been around through a couple of different iterations. This is its third iteration. When they first released it without the drop, there was a not an issue, but something that they corrected, and then they re-released it. And seeing it in F45 is S45. Did I say F45? But I am going to show you guys the knife I wanted to show you because it is. I reviewed that knife. That's a great knife, the full size rock eye. But just already. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? One thing about Blade HQ is they do get a lot of Protex in. What is it? Let's call it. Let me do this. All right, that screwed me up. So what I'm going to do is abandon that. And then I am going to look at this. And then I'm coming back to the chat, guys. I'm going to be with you until we start tearing this knife apart, which I don't think tearing this knife apart will take but just a few minutes. And I really think that it's something that would be very possibly educational, because it was something I used to would have never done, but I feel very comfortable doing it now. And it's just an easy mod on a knife. What was this god darn thing called? Because I know I've posted it before. All right. Let me copy that. I'm doing some behind the scenes because I don't have two monitors. Investigative journalism that I should have done beforehand. It's still in stock. Here it is. This is the one that I'm a big fan of. Don't ask me why. It's different. It's the Oligarch. Have y'all seen this? It is 7.5 inches, 3.25 inch blade. So it's a smaller knife. I saw it at Blade Show. I like the way that to me, it's very EDCable, has a deep carry clip, very simple design. I love the little blade shape. Magna Cut. The Oligarch looks like a winner. But anyway, back to the chat. What is up, Rob's Nerdy Knife? Good to see you, buddy. Hey, I was creeping and sharpening in your live on Monday night. I actually sharpened this knife that Chris229 donated. I've got a cold steel video coming out tomorrow because I'd always thought of cold steel as, and they are, known for being huge bruiser knives, right? They are that. But they also make some cool little knives that I didn't realize how thin and how slicey you could get them. I put both of these on my TS Prof. The front Tanto on this little Airlight, which is an Austin, didn't need a lot. I haven't reviewed these yet, but didn't need a lot of work on the front. Really none at all. So it's just I just really got that main blade sharp. I did the same thing with the SR1 because these knives are 49 bucks. And I compare it to my Cold Steel 4 Max. This is probably as big of a Cold Steel. I would reach across. Let me just go ahead and do that. That sounded bad. Reach across. But just to give you guys an idea. So the SR1 is a big ass knife. Now it's an 8 CR. Let's see. want to say 8 CRV, 14 MOV, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, it's been used a lot. I put it on the TS Prof, I want to say at 18 and a half, maybe 19 degrees, and it sharpened absolutely perfectly. I need to talk to Kyle Coonley and see if he ever wants to come on a Friday Night Flicks and do some demonstrating on his TS Profing. But I've been watching a lot of Jared's videos, and I've gotten really good with it. Once I decide the angle that I want, and this being a softer steel, you saw how slicey it was. Somebody's texting me, but my phone is a camera, so I can't reply. Hope it's not urgent. But the big badass knife, I want to say this is like 49 bucks. Let's just look. And again, I picked up a a Cold Steel 4Max Light first, and I liked it because it was so huge that I got the Elite because Midway had it on sale. And then before that, I had the I guess the 8020 was my first one. And then I got the 8015, which is probably my favorite. And I had a code 4. Wasn't real crazy about it because it was brass. Stevie, what is up, buddy? Member for 16 months. Thank you, my brother. Yeah, I made another successful Celestial lap, guys, and I just feel blessed to still be here. And that's why I kind of do these random kind of later night East Coast type things if nothing else is going on. Why not? I don't have much else going on. And you guys seem to enjoy chatting, and I enjoy kind of hearing, uh-oh, Kathleen, how'd you break a rib? That sucks. That's one of the worst type of pains I, as a man who's much more, has gone through much less than most women, have ever endured. But I broke 4, and then sneezed a month afterwards, and it was horrible. It was horrible. I hope you feel better. Unfortunately, there's just not a whole lot they can do. I tell you what I did just to make it feel better when I breathed is I wrapped it real tight with that thicker ace bandage just to kind of keep myself tightened up. And that's way back when I was addicted to pain pills. So that's not a good thing. I was just eating a lot of pain pills, but they weren't, they weren't really killing the pain. It was a shitty time. And also, this is an experiment. One of the reasons is I wanted to try Celsius for some crazy reason. Hold on 1 second, guys. Sorry, dudes and dudette. That was my 23-year-old daughter wishing me a happy birthday a day late, which is all good. I was like, thank you, thank you, thank you. Anyway, I don't celebrate birthdays anymore. I don't mention them. I think they and I haven't even been on Facebook, but I think that's what kind of tells the date. I don't think I put it on anything else. I think they're great. I think it's good to continue to add years or laps around the sun, so to speak. But I try to keep, and I guess it's all about your health level and this, that, and the other. And I'm not by any means or any stretch healthy, but I'm blessed. You know, each day, Paul Robb, member for 7 months. Thank you, brother. I can't find a good kazoo, a kazoo sound, but I'm kind of glad because I'm trying to find more different stuff. The gong's kind of a joke. Y'all check out this pedal. That was gifted to me by Brother Paul. And if I could turn this light off. Can't really tell because I've got too many other lights. But it glows. It is slicey as shit. I got to review the Bloom thanks to Maddie and his group because they thought I'd really like it, and I did. I love that knife. For some reason, probably because I'm not a hard user, I think I'm more than a poser because I actually cut shit and I enjoy carrying knives, or I wouldn't do it. I don't do it for clout. I always cover them with my shirt, especially my fixed blades. But I like smaller knives. The one I'm carrying today is one I've been really impressed with. This little big idea designs lookout. Now this one is small or smaller than my bug out. And yeah, it was cool. It was $200, you know, kind of expensive titanium handles, M390. And well, I wasn't mad at it. I know what, you know, overseas fixed blades cost, especially if they're done well, but it's an original design. And they're actually in Chattanooga, which is 45 minutes from me. And they just shipped out their first 425 USA made Magna Cut lookouts, which is the name of the mountain in Chattanooga, $300. And I know that's not as good of a price as what Alex is doing with his Sharp, which if I were buying knives, I would grab one of those, any of you. I love the way he's doing it standard without a sheath to bring more business to people who've made sheaths for him and local leather makers. But I love a small fixed blade. I still love my folders. I always carry one. I enjoy playing with them. I even enjoy my slip joints to cut shit with, but I don't consider myself a use your shit kind of guy, really, necessarily. Kevin Smith, member for 3 months. Thank you, brother. What's up, Autumn Wind, Demonot, channel member? I'm not paying any attention. I'm not paying any attention. I did that. Let me see. I think I deleted it though, because I don't have any really good recording. The only, let's see what this is. No, that's not it. The only recording software I have is Post, so I can record one of my guitars into my little board, which works, and transfer the riff. And I've even got one on here. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. But I thought about doing that, but none of them, I'm more of a, and you guys, Stevie hates this genre. I don't play the DMB, but I do play kind of the freaky deaky hippie, even though I can play some harder stuff. But with just one dude, you can't really play unless I set up my amp and then output from it and did shit that I don't know how to do. It wouldn't sound worth a shit. But I do have the capacity and have for about 30 minutes fumbled with not only plugging into the guitar, the best recordings I get of ideas are using off my iPhone, my little voice recorder, and I'll just set it up about, I don't know, 3 feet away from my amp, not necessarily even pointing at it. What's up, Pocket Razors? And just record little shit like that that'll be able to be emailed and upload, right? So I can do that. But for some reason, my effects just aren't doing it. They're not bringing the heat, except for my cold voice.
My cold voice seems to work fine. I don't know why, but it does.
Oh, Todd, I know, and I've even got some. I have 2 amps back before. I think I told you guys before my introduction into the knife community, which has actually been one of the longest hobbies that stuck with my hamster brain. I was big into musical gear. Thank you, Dang Ross. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I was big into because I played music not as a kid, not in high school, but all through college. I learned with the dude who I played with for 10, 11, 12 years. But when I came home and I got successful and I had a job, a corporate job, I was spending a lot of money on building different setups that I'd kind of always wanted, right? And mainly amps. And they're both, the amps I got are both kind of modeler amps that have outputs to be used as a computer, but or to be used with a computer. But I just haven't had the time to set it up, to mess it up. But I do have a kick ass pedal board that I built that I'd always wanted to build, and sounded after a different artist that I wanted to kind of replicate what they used. It was so much fun to put it together because it was kind of like Legos because I don't have any electrical um, background or knowledge or sound knowledge, but it's so easy to plug and play, right? As long as the shit fits and you line it up right, and you set your levels the way you want them. But I've got an old Fender Blues Deluxe amp that I bought, I want to say 1991, and I've had many opportunities to sell it. It's bigger than I need, but I love it. I mean, it just sounds so freaking good when I turn it up. And I've got that pedal board set right by it with a really nice cover on it. And since I started doing and watching knife videos and kind of collecting knives, I haven't plugged that amp in. That's the one I've got. The reverb. It's not the old reverb tweed. It's the reissue 91. I want to say 91. I could be off on that year. But yeah, I haven't even I still play every day with my little I've got a little Yamaha. It's a little 10 amp, and it's a great sounding practice amp. And I keep either my Strat or my other electric plugged into it. And then I've got an acoustic always out here. But in terms of getting and playing with sounds, I don't do that as much as I should. What's up, Angry Top Hat next door? Good to see you, Kent. Good to see you, Rob. I've never seen Metallica, but I did back in the old days. Not that this will excite a lot of people, and it wouldn't excite me now anyway, but I'd probably go see it again. I saw Van Halen Diver Down. My first concert that my mom and my aunt and my 5-month younger cousin went to and had fourth row seats was a Willie Nelson concert. And that would have been in 1975, maybe. And I can remember my mom elbowing me and said, there was a big guy standing next to me. She goes, he's smoking marijuana. And I found out a long time after that my mom knew exactly what it was. It was no big deal. But that was my first concert. And just in Huntsville, which is a kind of a small town, it's grown. I think it might be one of the bigger towns in Alabama now. I don't keep up with that shit. But it is definitely the most educated, I would think. Not to take anything away from any other part of Alabama. But there were a lot of concerts, weird concerts that I saw here as a kid, like Styx, like freaking Billy Squire before he released that video that ended his career. Who else? The Commodores. I mean, shit like that. Just weird, the random Charlie Daniels band, which was really, really good. Devil Went Down to Georgia bullshit, you know. And I'm not a country guy. Trying to think what else. But yeah, just a bunch of concerts. And then yeah, just went on kind of my own little musical journey, right? So I think music's a good thing. And I think guitar is a great thing, because you can pick it up and use it therapeutically at any stage of your life. With the internet now, when I learned, I had a Mel Bay chord book, never took a lesson, and I'm not great. I'm a hack. I can play, but I'm a hack. I bought a Mel Bay chord book in 1986. I think that's when Ab and I started playing, trying to replicate songs. And we are also seeing these bands like Widespread Panic in these little bitty bars. So I could watch, and Ab would watch their hands. So we could see what they were doing on the neck, take our Mel Bay chord book. That's how I learned music theory. I know no music theory. Can't read it. What's up, Weldon Carey? But yeah, so it's but my point is there was no internet at all, right? So if I wanted to learn a song, I had to watch somebody play it live because you didn't have a lot of video, or just hack it out, right? And the only way you'd hack it out was to take your Mel Bay chord book and try to do it with major chords. It never sounded exactly right, but it'd get you in the right neighborhood, right? So nowadays, if I want to learn a song, and I just learned them for me, like the Smashing Pumpkins 1979. Simple song, but really cool. It's got a groove. You might hate it. You might love it. It might be indifferent. I don't care. I just learned it because I'd heard it sometime. And it was, I just went to a video. I watched 3 videos. They were all very, very close. And I picked it up, right? So it's just easy. Rooster, simple song, Alice in Chains. Not one I used to get into until Unplugged, which was back in, I was into them, but not like I was Pearl Jam, Soundgarden. I respected them. I liked them more around that Unplugged phase. Is kind of what launched them into me, or me into them, but never played a lot of their music. My point is, anybody can get a guitar as long as you're comfortable and you don't, it's comfortable in your hands, whatever. Price doesn't really matter if you're just getting one for therapy, and you can learn anything you want to. The resources are there. I love Demonic. Without drummers and bass players, there is no music, in my opinion. And a lot of people are going to hate this because this band's very polarizing. But I'm a Deadhead from the days, the Grateful Dead. And the reason I say that is Bob Weir is a rhythm guitarist who never wanted any type of like guitar recognition. And going back and listening to the stuff he played, it was genius because he was playing in the empty spaces that, ego, I think, will ruin anybody in any career, whether it's auto racing. And no, I'm not an auto racing fan. Oh, Alex Van Halen was a shit. Neil Peart, and I'm mispronouncing that, but that's my all-time favorite. He and Carter Buford. I don't know if y'all have ever heard of Carter Buford. And Stevie, if you're still in here, I apologize because I don't equate him, even though he's in Dave Matthews' band and has been since the beginning. He is one of the most technically advanced modern drummers. And my favorite is that guy I've shown y'all from Instagram, who is just Alfonso something or another, Espinato. The dude is just sick. He can play anything from Journey to Fleetwood Mac to Slipknot to shit I don't even understand. But he's just good. Snow Trog, I saw Hootie a long, long time ago in Auburn before they were ever really big. And I can tell you this, Darius Rucker, the lead singer, and the blonde-haired guy who played guitar, I saw them at Crystal's after they played at another venue there in Auburn, small. And he was one of the most polite, happy to be there guys. Taylor Hawkins was great. And that song, Heroes, where his son comes out and plays, I get tears just thinking about it. What a talent. I just wasted. And again, that goes back, and I'm not going to get into it because there's nothing to gain. I'll just get demonetized. But yeah, I mean, that could have easily been avoided. I'll need to check that out. I'm going to show you guys. I'm not gonna play it because I think he doesn't like his shit to be played. Maybe he does. I don't care. I'll point him out to you. Let's see if I can find him in here. This guy right here. If you're not following him on Instagram and you like drums, I would go follow this guy. He has 4.6 million followers. Can y'all see that? I'm about to play something. I'm just going to do it. I don't think he'll hammer on me. Somebody said they liked Alex Van Halen. What I get more impressed with is him playing stuff that I know or stuff that is old Motown stuff, and his technique. Let me find something that's worth listening to, then I'll get out of this. Let me find it. Where is it? He did a Hot for Teacher in here. That's pretty cool. Let's just find something. Somebody's song that they won't like me playing. But he
A few minutes later.
But he just does a lot of technique stuff. And I mean, this guy has a library of music. I think he's in a band that he started. He doesn't need to be. He could make a living off because he gives lessons too. But I just happened to see him in my feed a long time ago. I say a long time ago. In online years, it was a year ago, year and a half ago. But this guy right here, go check him out. Just to have interesting things when you're scrolling through your feed. Break up night. Rob, you going to bed, buddy? All right, I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to make this big. I'm going to try to make this big. Let's see if I can do this. Yeah. And I'm going to get into this. Does this bother y'all? You probably can't hear me. All right, I'm going to need a T6 too. I've also got my bit bar. I've been using this kind of as a backup. I keep a T6, T8, and a T10 in here. It's got like two little detent balls that keep it locked in. It's a great little EDC driver because you can use it straight on. Use like that. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put my T6 up. I'm going to get my T6 out here. I'm going to put it in, put my T8 in there, put my T6 in here. I'm going to side handle it. It's magnetic. Get them started. And I'm using this little like $10 glow mat from CountyCom instead of my disassembly mat because it's small. and it's got these kind of half-inch ridges around it. It seemed to keep my shit from bouncing off more. I'm real bad about losing a screw. Paul knows this. We've talked about it. And there's nothing more frustrating than being on your hands and knees looking for hardware that you know you need to get your knife back together. And I'll typically eventually find it, but I have to go back and like stop looking for it, take some time, breathe, go back and look for it. It's just a pain, right? I'm hoping I don't have to, I can just get one side and I'm getting the wrong side. Damn it. All right, guys. So we're going to have a complete disassembly because I was going on the back side of the pivot. I apologize. This is still going to be quick because all I'm trying to do is adjust the detent. All right. Over there. Go here. All right. Let's see if I can get this apart. Hopefully y'all aren't just totally bored. I was going to have to go through it all the way to get to the liner. You just got to kind of wiggle when these things are press fit pretty tight, I find. There we go. Now I've got my back spacer, my little back spacer pin. So we got to figure out where that's going to go. I don't want to take out my stop pin. I do need to take out my blade. Now, what I was hoping to do is come in here like so. This is what I did for my F5.5. All right, I'm going to let that sit there like that. And I'm going to see what these little greasy spots are on here. I don't want that to fall on my tray. I use this KPL Magic Eraser for all kinds of shit. Whether it's little bits of oxidation or it's, I don't know what would be on this titanium, but this gets it off. It just leaves behind a little grit. So, what we have hopefully accomplished is a little bit of a lock bar increase in tension. Now, that being said, take these skiffs out. Bear with me, guys. I will make this quick. Just want to real quickly whack through this blade, get it clean, and then we will no longer be messing with disassemblies. I look at them as maintenance, not mods. And the point is, if you don't have a captive pivot, irregardless of what is logical, sometimes it's put together backwards. So you'll start working on your pivot and you're backing it out, right? So what I'm going to do is hope that I've not gone too far. I'm going to get some KPL heavy. Put one little glob on the detent ball. And then I'm going to get some KPL original. The trickiest part of this is going to be to decide where this pin for the backspacer goes, I'm afraid. All right. So what I need to figure out I think this goes right here, which holds this in right here. And that was just by deductive logic, guys. It was confusing at first, kind of confusing now, because I'm not really exactly sure what I'm doing. But I'm rolling ahead. And what I really should do, or should have done, but I didn't, is I should have put those body screws down on the other side, which I might do now. Like this. My pin fell out. Did y'all see that? I'm not going to let it bother me because I know exactly where it goes. And I'm not tweaking down on these yet because I don't know how much I'm going to need on the other side. Not that it matters. I've probably got plenty. I should have done that first. Had I been playing the game right, I would have just gone ahead and done that. All right, let's see here. All right. So this liner is going to go in like so. I'm assuming this washer is going to go. Whoops. I'm going to put a little goo on there because that washer is wanting to jump out. All right. Well, probably should have done this anyway. That snapped together very nicely. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this pivot Get Good screwdriver. Put that in there. I have to pull a knife out of my pocket to see what side the clip goes on because I'm spatially challenged. So it goes on the other side. Which means put this little jinky jank in there. And I'm going to go over here. I'm going to get my bit bar. We're going to put in the rest of these body screws. Guys, I apologize for this. We're almost done. I have no idea if we made progress. The point is, if your knife has an issue and you don't want to just send it back, which would be my first choice if it was a real issue, but you can fix a lot of issues, and there are not a lot of parts to a knife. I say that, and this is probably going to be a train wreck, but it is going to be because I'm going to have to. I've got to thread the head of this screw through there like that, which is a bitch. There we go. There we go. Bang. Uh-oh. I'm part of the Wire Clip Lover Club, but it's always something that frustrates me on reassemblies. Dead nut centered. I can still swing it out, so I didn't make much progress, but maybe I didn't give it enough time. Anyway, do not be discouraged, kids, because I will probably come back and leave it. I can't remember if I left. I didn't film the 5.5, but I can't remember if I left it for a while, kind of to form. But it also had titanium liners, so it wasn't a deal where the material was different. Make this go away. Snow Trog, what is going on? Kyle Coonley, Weldon Carey, what is up? Hey, Kyle Coonley, I was gonna say that if you ever want to join me on a Friday Night Flicks, I almost did some TS Prof. I've got a 360 that I've just put every accessory on it instead of getting a different one. I've just always stayed with the Blitz 360. And that's what I sharpen everything with. And I feel like I'm pretty good with it. And I know they've come a long way. And if you ever wanted to come on and do any type of sharpening, you're always welcome. Know that. I've had some issues with my Mannix. I've always been able to fix it. It's just a matter of anytime you're dealing with springs, whether it's Demcos, whether it is Spydercos, whether it's button locks, whether it's axis locks, really anything like that. Just anytime, Kyle. All you got to do is hit me up, buddy, and we can do a Clinging Works guest star night where you come on and either talk about what you're, however you want to do it, dude. You just let me know. But yeah, it's hear the hawk. See, that's what goes on in my brain. Exactly, exactly. Demonok, I will tell you, and this is just my hand. I was a shaman and still am. It's one of my favorite Spyderco knives, and it's the one that I learned to flip. If I was buying knives now, I would probably buy a Bodacious just because I love the size of this knife. However, when I got the Mannix 2, I hated it initially because I didn't like the jimpy scales. And then I found these rock scale designs a couple of years ago that do not have that you can get rid of the liners. The jimpy liners is what I was meaning. And the G10 scales had a little jimping too. So for me, even though the Shaman's a much bigger platform, much harder use platform, the Mannix 2 as an EDC knife has just been, because I'm getting ready to do some content on Spyderco's. The Para 2, even though to me it's not the perfect knife for me, I think the Para 2 could go down like a lot of knives. My whole point is there are knives that we could buy 4 years ago that to this day, by knife standards, are all you need. A great example, as Demonok's pointing out, is the Shaman. This knife stands the test of time. There have been some fantastic, nice knives that have come out, but in terms of a cutting tool that works well, whether you're a urban EDC guy that uses it for light duty like me, or you're somebody that cuts a lot of material at a packaging shop every day, this is a great knife. I think I personally, and I've had them, was not a paramilitary 3 fan, but a perfect one and done knife, not necessarily the Warncliffe. I have all 3 blade styles, but the paramilitary 2 is a fantastic USA knife that are, I mean, they're not that expensive, especially if you happen to be at a blade show and you can get them on closeout. But for an American made nice knife, that I think will last, mine have lasted for a very long time. Granted, they've not been all of them. My S110, the first one I had, my original Para 2 that's I can't reach, has been through a lot. But it's a great knife too. And again, it's the only knife, realistically, a Rat 2, which I've never had. I've never owned, I've handled, but a Rat 2 is all most people probably need for 98% of what they do. My whole thing about, I guess, my addiction into knives was just kind of taking, and I'm not saying it was a healthy addiction. It was almost think the channel, when I decided to post shorts and do Instagram stuff, I think it was a way for me to justify that I was buying a lot of stuff. I had a big collection, so I had a lot. Night Kathleen, I had a lot of knives that I could make content off of. Since I'm not buying knives now, because I used to have unboxings weekly because I was buying so much stuff, but I'm going back and looking at knives like this Atelier that I bought. I was really excited. Again, I wish I'd gotten the titanium. It probably would have had better detent. There's nothing wrong with this detent. It's lighter than I would like, but it's a great knife. I carried it, did a review on it. It went in a case, but it's a good knife, you know? So I'm thinking of ways to look, and this wouldn't be what I would consider a one and done knife, a knife that would kind of suit everybody, right? Um, I think a paramilitary 2. I think a polarizing knife right here. And I'm talking about an urban EDC, like me kind of guy. This was my first Grail knife. This is a knife that I still love. If I was buying knives now, I would have also got a Magna Cut version that just came out. Even though I hate the rust color, I did like the acid etched blade, but this is just an S30V, the OG aluminum. It's a Benchmade, but it's probably my second or third favorite Benchmade. Um, I've got like I love my Mini Loco, but I wouldn't say it's for everybody. Could be a great EDC knife. This knife I think is. I think it's a great knife. I think there are better knives that have come along, more innovative knives, innovative lock styles. I love to see. I buy into a lot of the design changes that are happening, but then when you come down to a cutting tool that works, and you look at Benchmade, you look at Spyderco, you look at a lot of makers. They're great knives out there. Um, I'm a huge ProTech fan. I know flipper onlys aren't for everybody, but this is one of my favorite knives, the Mordax. I just showed it to you guys for, I think it's 245 in S45. This is Magna Cut. In my opinion, S45. I've got my Spartan Harseys. One of them's in S45. One of them's in Magna Cut. I think S45s, to me, who is not a steel guy, I think it holds up well. I think the makers are more comfortable using it. And I'm hoping that that means that ProTech has more access to the S45 and we see more of these knives. But this is thin. It's a kind of a medium full size knife. It is a button lock, but ProTech, for some reason, did it better. They've come out with another knife. I don't know exactly what it's called. What's up, Stonehands? But they released this year at Blade Show another thumb stud manual knife that is a button lock. And when I talked to Dave last year, not this past year, but in 2023, he said their plan was at some point to make most of their knives available as manuals. These were just manuals, but this is a great knife, guys. It's in stock now. I'm hoping you'll see it in stock more, but it's an S45. I haven't been to ProTech's site to see if they've just made that switch. But there's a lot of good to be said about S45, but a great, great knife that, again, I bought, I fell in love with. I reviewed it, I carried it for a while. I was chasing knives constantly, both for the channel, but more for my own dopamine rush that I was chasing. And it gets put in a case and it doesn't get carried enough. So my point is, I love collecting knives, and I will be collecting knives. Again, there are a lot of knives that I want to try out, that I want to experience. But I think it's because at some point, whether we're buying in this budget range or this budget range, we're aficionados to a point. We like to, at least I do, play with sharp shit. It's real simple. Yeah, I like to cut and use stuff, and I'd love to say that my job every day required me to cut a bunch of straps, but it doesn't. But I do cut plenty of stuff, and I've always got a knife on me. The only reason I say that, Paul, that's the way it was when I got this knife, and my buddy A to Z EDC wanted one of these, and when he went to DLT site, they only had the S45 left, so he ordered it. And when it came, the box was an S45 box, but the knife was MagnaCut. So I really think a lot of these makers, and I don't follow a lot of the hardness tests or the Kyle Coonley, if he's in here, he probably knows. But I think S45 is a good steel. It's my little guy is an S45. That little guy. And I should know more. And maybe that's what I'll do. I've noticed that Rochambeau, and I applaud him on it. I look to him for the knowledge, and I feel like he's almost got that covered because he's really getting into hardness testings and things that just the way that I live with a knife aren't the most important thing to me. And I know that's sacrilege, but it's important. I want a knife that's going to hold up. Is souped up S45. Yeah, and that thanks, Kyle. I just don't know, and I need to learn more. Not because it's not something that's necessarily important to me. I know it's important to a lot of people who watch the channel. So if I'm gonna make, I like steels that are probably not the best steels to use because I like them. And it's kind of different for everybody. So I need to learn more. I almost bought a couple of times Laren's book. I know his website does a great job. I feel like the book would be something I could study, but I just don't do it. Yeah, Kyle, I think there's so much there. The weird thing is, and I'm not going to go off on a tangent, I'll try to keep it short. But when I was a young teenager, one of my buddies' dad was a metallurgist, a very well-renowned, passed away, left his son a fortune. That went horribly wrong. That's a whole nother story. But metal properties can be utilized and put into play in a lot of different scenarios, right? And there are a lot of different variables that go into, and they were trying to do structural stuff around the time the space shuttle had, I forget what it was, but they were testing on a lot of different things. And I think a lot of the makers, I don't know about overseas makers. I would assume since it is a competitive economy and the fact that Remiet has reached out, I don't know if y'all are aware of this or if it has been mentioned on anybody's live because of some tests that came out that Rochambeau did some investigating on. They're looking to secure a reviewer, an actual HRC tester, because they want to know how they're doing. So my point there to that little tangent is I would think anybody making knives that are trying to gain the business of anybody who's buying knives is going to try to maximize what they're able to do. And to me, when I look at what manufacturers from overseas are able to do with some of their machines, I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me why they would shoot themselves in the foot with an inferior process based on the knowledge that they know, right? And I know from designers here that have had knives made that there's certain points that the OEM doesn't feel comfortable warranting the product, which might make sense because you're dealing with a situation where the edge retention might be better, but it might be more brittle. I don't know enough yet. And Kyle, I'm not saying it needs to be a metallurgist that brings focus. It needs to be somebody, I think Stas's tests, I don't know how reliable they are. I watch them, even though that's not something that's ever going to persuade me to buy or not buy a knife unless it just horribly fails for whatever reason. But I love seeing him just put it through daily paces, and I know every knife's different. So I feel, as a English psychology major who has no scientific background, that you can't really make a judgment off of one knife to truly test it. However, you can test a knife and hope that it's going to come within a control, right? And I would love for somebody I think there's so many that do and mean well, but if there was somebody who was a kind of not an elder statesman, but a trusted community member who the community knew possessed knowledge or was showing knowledge, whether it be in videos or it be in, however it could be put out. I think there are a couple of things besides all the regular things that drive people apart: community, sexual preference, or not community, religion, sexual preference, politics, blah, blah, blah. I think HRC and country of origin, for one, people's minds are probably never going to be changed, right? It's one of those things that you get to a point and it's just people's minds are set. But I love when people, and I thought about doing, Luke, what's going on, brother? I thought about doing a video, and I don't know how to do. I want to do more thought videos, but I ramble and I don't do scripts, and I won't do scripts, so it's kind of hard to do. I almost have to be in a thought and then think, okay, this would make a good video. But normally people, and I know this to be a fact from the way life is, you read something at a certain time or you view something at a certain time, and it could be misconstrued as slinging shit. If I sling shit ever, which I don't ever plan to, I will attach names to the shit that I sling because I only think that's fair. But there are thoughts that I think could be dealt with a lot better. For example, if I have a really strong belief on, I will only use a fucking Tanto. If it's not a Tanto, it's not a knife. I believe that. I'm going to hang out in this community, but if it's not a Tanto, it's not a knife. Okay. If I shared that, that's great. So maybe I'll show and share and participate in Tanto content, conversations, or whatnot. But if I'm making my what's the word I'm looking for? My affinity for only Tantos and my inability to consider something different as a berating tactic of, you bought a drop point or a Warncliffe, you do not know what you're doing, you're helping such and such, blah, blah, whatever it is. I think anything, and that's just a generalization, but I think anything that, regardless of how you agree with or disagree with somebody's rationale, there are a lot of ways to discuss it. And I just don't always think jumping through it is good. Sometimes it's good to have public in chat rooms to let it out and to talk about it. I think, and there was a great video that I think we might watch by Apex Alchemy. Because if you guys were with me the other night, or maybe it was Friday night, I was talking about a situation where I came across a video and left an innocuous comment asking a couple of questions. A, why'd you make a video that's posing serious, truthful, to a point, allegations that have kind of been proven, but you turn off your comments. So I go to your next video and I leave the question that I wanted to ask to the original video, and you ban me. This is a video that's about the same company, and I think that's why maybe it was put into my feed. But are y'all familiar with Apex Alchemy? I like his channel. He did a great video. No, Snowtrog. And that is my point exactly. When I share my subjective musings on knives that I like, typically I've learned about them from somebody or somewhere, and usually Stasa or somebody's gotten it and cut with it, right? So my point is, I will never claim to be the choppy guy, the how many feet this one will cut. I am the sharpening guy. I'm getting a lot better at sharpening, and I can tell a lot more by sharpening knives. But I think there's some great assets that we have that do a lot of hard work, cutting stuff. And I think that's helpful, right? I think it's very helpful. Thank you, Snowtrog. And again, I've told people privately, and I tell people publicly. I usually apologize to somebody after every live stream because I do say stupid shit unintentionally. Maybe I just do it because I'm not thinking about it. But my point is, if you ever see me doing something shilly, now I will use affiliate links, and because they're from sources that I buy from and people that I have relationships with, because I believe in their products. I'll never push products that I don't think are something that if we bumped into each other or you reached out to me and say, this sucks, I would feel like shit. I'm not in it for that. What's up, Michael Upchurch? But if you ever, I'm real bad about comments, but I'm real good about DMs. And a lot of people seem to reach out, and I think it's fine. Email, DM, or comment. I try to read comments, but I'm the worst at it. I apologize. That's my big weakness. I might make myself available until I get back into working professionally. I'm thinking about maybe doing something during the day if I could find an hour, but I think that bores people, and that's overexposure. So it'll probably be just Fridays. Do the thing Friday night. Have a good time. Have giveaways. Talk about what's going on. But I do want feedback from things that you guys see that, and I'm hoping that I don't ever turn you off. I'll always review shit, or I say overview shit that I might like that you don't like. I might not like something that you love, but I don't do it intentionally. It's all subjective. Subjective is we all like different stuff. We all like different blade shapes. We all lean towards different favorite steels. We all lean towards different handle materials, and that's a good thing. So, just never take, like I always say, I always go into it with kindness. It's not about hate. It's not about pointing out that somebody else is wrong. If someone is wrong or hateful, I call them out. But I say choose debate, not hate, because call them out in a way to where they can respond and you can start a dialogue. Because maybe they won't learn. But what's great is dialogues, especially in social media sections. I don't use Twitter. I think it's a cesspool, but I think the actual architecture of it was brilliant, where you can have a conversation and exchange ideas, but there's way too much. I don't use it now, X or whatever it's called, because it's so toxic. But I think YouTube comments, there are a lot of channels that are very toxic, but I think our community is, for the most part, respectful enough to have those discussions if they're not able to be had in public or it's not convenient to have them in public. But I always just say be open-minded, not to things that you're married to, right? So if you love stuff, that's your gig. I will just tell you that I have kept an open mind, and I like a lot more stuff because of it. Slip joints, for one, that I would have never thought I'd enjoy, cherish in some cases, and fixed blades that I say I enjoy now more or as much as my folders. And I can tell you, as a channel, fixed blades perform, for some reason, so much better. And it's not about that, but it's, you notice that, right? So my videos on average get over 100 views in a day on average, right? I'll say that's an average. I did a video over the weekend that was a little like 6. I'm going to share this with you guys. Like 6 fixies that I love that I hadn't talked about in a while, or I don't remember talking about in a while, maybe. So I had 2 today. I've got a penguin video, or a hedgehog video. I don't expect slip joints to do good. 85 views. And then I've got an unboxing from this afternoon with 61. Well, this one yesterday that was fixed blades was 2,158. So if you look at, and that's in a day, if you look at my videos by views, none of my numbers, none of my videos have gone quote unquote viral, but all of my top performing videos are fixed blades. Why that is, I think there's probably more people that are interested in fixed blades, or I just don't know, right? It's interesting. Does that mean I'm going to make only fixed blade content? No, not at all. I think I would probably, when I quit enjoying, because I try to do a video a day, and I usually have to stage those out. And those of you that are members get early access. But I try to stage them out. I'm only like a couple of days ahead, maybe a day. I've got videos that I've written down the title, so I know that I've got to do a thumbnail and record a video. No edits, so it takes me, with the upload process, a couple of hours. But when I get to the point to where it's not fun or it's not fulfilling, I don't have a problem just not doing it. I enjoy it. I enjoy the community. I enjoy the Nas. I enjoy the people, but I always will be credible. That doesn't mean that there won't be people, I assume, that will at some point, I assume, say that that's not my game, that I'm not trying to be credible or whatever. And it doesn't bother me. I mean, I don't think that the internet opinions are reality, but I think it's important to have places to go to get opinions, or for me, it was always to see a knife, to be able to see a knife and how it worked and watch someone use it, watch them cut with it. But I'm not your average knife user, right? I don't use stuff hard. Let's see if I can reverse flip the 4Max. I put an edge on that the other day, and it is an absolute screamer. That's on the Sawtooth Hologrind. Let's do this. How do I do this? Let me see. Go. Exit solo. Make that solo. I put oil on it. That's why it looks kind of greasy. But this thing is so thin. I've got a video coming out tomorrow. See if you guys think it's interesting, but it's kind of like what I think about cold seals. I never feature. There's so much stuff that I don't feature enough, that I don't talk about enough. And I think there's a lot of knives that have been around for a long time that are great knives, that are, I mean, for all practical purposes, there is no perfect knife, but there are knives that perfectly will serve a lot of people's purpose. And they don't have to cost an arm or a leg. One thing I've got coming are, I don't know when they'll be here, but some more economical knives. Kaiser's sending me some fixed blade stuff and some folders. And Artisan is sending me some CJRB stuff. I was a big fan of the Tigris, the Craig, and I think my favorite was the Rhea, the little small Rhea, which is still available. It is an absolute fantastic gentleman's folder. Let's go Rhea. I'm going to share this. But this little guy was the third. This is the one I had, $33. One thumb stud, small little snappy, deep carry G10. Interesting lanyard loop there. 12C. I think they've got some upgraded ones now. Let's see what this one is. AR RPM 9. But anyway, a budget knife. So anyway, I'm looking for more of that for content for you guys, because I want to keep it to a video a day, at least, right? And then do some disassemblies just to have in the catalog for people who want that, and other stuff, you know, just unboxings and things like that, if I can get to them when they come in. That's something I never understood before I thought about a channel, is sitting on an unboxing. But sometimes you have to. It's just because you want to film it, right? That's part of it. I think that's a big deal, especially things that come from when a manufacturer is going to send me something like Kaiser, like CGRB. I think Axial is going to be sending me something. I think how that package is packaged is very important, you know, in terms of, I want the representation of the way it comes to be shared and to be known. So if yours is different, you can have something to refer to and talk to either me and or, because I always know the company that I'm either buying from or getting stuff from. And that's what I think good relationships, and I think the basis of, I would think a successful anything is being credible, but for me, it's the sum of the resources someone in any genre can pull together, right? Not, I want the maximum resources. I want all the knives. I want to show all the knives. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is we're all different, and we all have different likes and dislikes. And if anyone was going to start a channel, I would think the best way to do that would be to showcase those things that you like, that have proven you to be a great tool, and build off that, and build off those relationships, whether they're the retailers that you use to buy your stuff from, the manufacturers that you have the best luck with their stuff. Because I found myself in a pattern. I can go look through, I've got a historical spreadsheet that's disgusting that I won't ever auto total for some reason. But my buying habits, I've used very few budget companies throughout my journey, so to speak. My first grails were Benchmade's, Spyderco's. I still think they're as good as anything. Benchmade gets a lot of hate, respectfully so. When you look at some of the pricing, I look at the pricing of the Benchmades that I have, and I think the most ridiculous at the time was my G10 Blade HQ bug out in 20 CV, but I got it on a Black Friday deal, and it was a really good deal. And now it's got met and boss scales, and I love it. So when I look at my Benchmade collection, I don't have those, even though I'm aware of what's going on now for whatever reason. I don't have those thoughts because they were all, to me, higher than I ever thought I'd pay for a knife, but a good value, especially in hindsight. I, knock on wood, have never had an Axis spring break, and I use them a lot. I've cut myself worse than I ever have before with my Adamas, doing some maintenance on it, but that blade is freaking sharp from the factory. So sharp, I thought it just bounced off my pinky, and it cut through my pinky and almost cut my pinky tip off. It was brutal. I've got Instagram. Let's see if I can find some proof. How far back do I have to go? I wonder if Instagram keeps I guess they do keep all the posts. That's why I'm so glad I am not a teenager or a college student or a 20-something or a 30-something. I would be terrified to know that everything that I would have put on the internet is being put on the internet. Yeah, guys, I would have to go back. I'll let this thing refresh to see if I can get back to it. But anyway, what I did is I ended up getting, somehow it was such a clean cut that I immediately capped it off, and then I got a glob of that just liquid skin, just globbed it on there. I mean, it made a big glob, and it bled in there, but it stayed hard, and I just let it sit there, and it looked nasty. And because this is when I was doing a lot of flipping videos, and I would get people commenting, what is growing on your finger? And then like a week later, maybe 8 days later, it fell off, and my finger was perfect. I mean, the nail was grown almost out, but the finger itself, I didn't lose any of that tip. And I thought for sure I was. I thought it was going to turn black and fall off. Later, Demonoc. Guys, we won't go that much longer. We'll go probably 30 more minutes. It's midnight now. I know that's late. God, it's Wednesday morning. Most of you guys probably have jobs. I will probably, what I like to do, and I'll do that now. We can do that together. Just for a second. I like to see what is going to be available and what I would be excited about, and then share that, right? Because I was the one that always went to these sites, and where in the world here's new arrivals. I do DLT, GP knives, White Mountain knives, Blade Binge, Smoky Mountain Knife Works, traditional pocket knives. I don't know. What do y'all think about these? I've heard a lot about these, but I don't know anything about them. These Vanguards. Anybody have one? Curious? I'm curious. And maybe I'll reach out to Justin at White Mountain Knives. This strikes me as really cool, but that's expensive. But again, when you look at custom fixed blades, you've got to look at handle material. You've got to look at this. To me looks really sick. 7 1/4 AEBL. Nice little sheath, nice little blade shape. Cool, but to me I'm sure it's worth every single penny. But anyway, so I'll look there, and then we'll look and see what's coming here. And I guess these red Sabenzas are a thing. These purple heartwood, I think I'd rather just have a regular old Sabenza, personally. One like this for $100 less, not a left-handed one. But they do have a auto MagnaCut 940. I only go to a couple of pages because I have ADHD and very little interest because, like I say, I'm not currently buying. I'm noticing these are sticking around a lot longer. So we're going to stop sharing that. We're going to go to this one, River's Edge Cutlery. Whoops. That was a mistake, guys. Sorry about that. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Oh, I must have closed it. Damn it. All right, let's do this. I will do my best to have a screen, a second screen. Y'all won't hopefully notice. Hopefully it'll just be smoother. I will try to have one this weekend. All right. Ton of hinderers in stock, guys. And I mean, this is a folder. I don't know anything about that. That's $400. That seems like a lot, but it's an integral. Just not my jam, but it's really cool. Let's see what else we got. I do like the thumb disc. That's kind of grown on me. There's a Bald Man knife that's on sale here that if it's still here, here are all those Jack Wolfs. If it's still here and you guys are liking fixed blades, I think this is a cool one. I actually started following Bald Man Tools on Instagram because I saw this knife, and it should be coming up. Yeah, right here. It is now on sale. It's still a lot, $210. It is a little slicey piece of satin MagnaCut, and micarta. Comes with a nice little sheath. And it is called the Cicada. So I'm going to stop sharing for a second and jump over here to Instagram. I'm going to go to Bald Man. But what I was going to say before I went all brain dead on y'all, there is, and remind me to show y'all a couple of things to go check out on YouTube. One of them is Bob DeMarco this week had on Colin McGuire from Mag 10 Knife Works. So there's a great interview up on Bob's channel. Please check that out because this guy, I've personally met him 2 times, actually 3, but I've talked to him in depth twice when I bought this knife in Nashville and then at Blade Show this past year. Totally support him. Super good guy. But what I was going to show you guys, let me share real quick. Bald Man Tools, again, a company I didn't know anything about. And in the spirit of Survive Knives, because we're getting ready to go look at Apex Alchemy's point, what a clusterfuck that was. I would never, ever prepay for a knife. If this is my recommendation, I've done some stupid stuff, but I would never prepay for a knife that personally was going to take a while to get. I don't do pre-orders anymore. That's me personally. But when you have a situation where you've got so much out in the open issues, at some point you do have to stop. But Apex Alchemies, and I'll show you the video and share it with you. His whole point is he's still, if someone sends him a Survive knife, because he still believes that they were he said the biggest problem there was A, they weren't managing business right, but B, that they were trying to sell $1,000 knife for $300. That's why they were so popular. They did too good of a job, but he's going to continue to poke them because I guess that's his thing, is he's an HRC tester. These knives are just cool, guys. Again, I've only seen that one, but the more I see his knives, I started following him, and I think this little guy, the Cicada, is just a cool looking, because I like small fixies, and I think that just looks like an absolute slicer. But again, people that like bigger knives, that like chunkier knives, Bald Man brings that too. I just share cool shit, stuff that I'm interested in, stuff that I think's really cool. And the other one that I can't give enough kudos to is Scott over at Aries and what he's cranking out. Whoops. What happened? That's not what I wanted. I wanted that. There we go. These knives, I think there's a picture of mine glowing here, are next level. All handmade, all in Florida. His grip work is exquisite. His designs are, I think, beautiful. Let's see if we got more views of that jimping up there. I love this harpoon. I mean, just fantastic work, guys. And there's my little one right there. That's the pedal. Turbo glow bolster. That glows in the dark. And then you've got this dark matte green glow carbon fiber. I wish I could show it to you in the dark. It is sick. And it's sharp. And I love the way he stamps his blades. But you can just look at the stock and just the quality of the work he's turning out. I'm going to try to have him back on Friday Knife Flicks. He was on one night. I think that was the night that Pocket Metal and Scotch were there. And it might have, I want him kind of to have the floor to be able to talk about what he's doing and how he does it, because I think it is really special. But he was doing 5 a month. That's what he was taking on. This is the actual bloom that I got to check out. And I mean, wow. But yeah, I'm going to drop him in the chat, and then we'll quit sharing stuff for now. But yeah, go check out Aries EDC. Really, really cool knives. Let's see if I turn my light off here. I have to actually turn this one off. I'm gonna get this to glow for you. Let me do this. I don't want to knock over my Celsius. Hit it with the laser. If I do that too long, it'll melt it. All right. Damn. I don't want to turn off my black light, but I'm going to have to. All right. I think I've got too much. Too much residual light. You can see it glowing in there. It's a bad little acid etch, sweet little knife. I can highly recommend it. Turn this back on. That's a great point, Knife Nut. And I'll tell you who's a great resource, and he doesn't like to share it as much. And I need to get him back on the show. It's our brother, Dark Gravity, because Dark Gravity actually has a heat treat license, and he works in the steel industry, and he has been he knows a lot about it, and he knows a lot about different applications and a lot of the whys behind some of the stuff that's being used. I mean, I wish I could show you this off camera. Paul, I mean, it glows like an absolute beast. I mean, I'm looking at it right here under my lights, and I just can't get it to show the... That's all glowing like shit. But so is that tray, which is not good. But look at the size of this little knife. And check this out. That was me hitting the choil. I mean, it's just an absolute laser beam. I love it. I got it all wicked waxed up. I really recommend this stuff. And I also use some of the KPL wipe on, wipe off stuff. And I also use some stuff called Aqua Paste that I got a long time ago. But I do think it's important to treat your blades, because I've noticed, and I've had most of mine now for going on 2 years, 3 years, but I've noticed little, not rust pockets, but little, I guess, areas that would, without being noticed, start, right? Get us a VV Nug. Hold on. I got to pull that up because I'm not familiar with that one. And that's a company that I have done a shitload of business with. And I've reached out to them on so many different platforms and emails. I need to do it again to try to get their I like this one better than the one that Brian Brown, and I saw them both at Blade Show. I was surprised at the size of the one that Brian Brown did. This is a bigger knife. I love the way this looks. I really need to, whoops. I've got to go in and do this again. But yeah, that is a very cool knife. I've not checked it out. And I'm not seeing a lot of reviews on it, but I'm sure it is a good looking knife. And I'm sure Civivi does. I've had 20 to 30 Civivis over the years. My most recent is probably the FSG, which I still have because I love it. I've also got the Vision R, which I love it for a different reason. But I had a lot of the button locks. I've had a bunch of them that I've given away recently, but I've never had a bad one. I've never had a bad Civivi. So I would think if you like the look of it and the size looks like it's going to be within your ballpark, that you can't go wrong there. I just think they do a good job. And I don't have it out here, but I was real late to the Kaiser bar lock program, like the Drop Bear. Been blown away by that knife. I love it. I think Vosteed is still doing it probably the best. I think they're Doberman and that Tyrannosaurus or whatever it's called. Let's see. Tyrannosaurus. I think that's a knife I don't see enough in the wild, and maybe it's because it hadn't been circulated enough. Let's see. Or maybe they didn't make a lot of them. I don't know. But I think this knife, let me find it. This one right here. This is one of my favorites. This particular one's out of stock, but we might be able to find it, or you might be able to find it at a retailer. But it's got a thumb disc, nice little poon. The blade's about the same length as the Raccoons, but it's got a little bit narrower contoured handle, contoured G10. Comes in a lot of different finishes. But let's see what happens if I do this. Let's do this. That was weird. I hit the wrong button, dudes. Can y'all hear me? Am I back? Am I back? Which one? Which one? Which one? The Yens. I've been seeing those on a couple of the websites. What do y'all think about them? Let's go. Because I thought they looked cool. I'm going to tell you a knife that I think looks cool. And it's OEM by Kunwu. But I think MC's knife, have y'all seen it? I think it looks very, very cool. Let's do this. Let's go Yans. Yeah, these have hit. There are a couple of these in stock, and I'll try to find them. We'll just Google them after we look at this. But they're stunning knives. And there's some that don't have the Zircuti inlay. So you can get some. Let me do this. Let's go. I don't want that. I want that. All right. So Smoky Mountain, I saw some there. So that one's purple fat carbon fiber. Whoops, I hate pop-ups. Magna Cut, good looking knife. I think they're cool. I do have an affiliate link to Smoky Mountain in my link tree, but let's see, because there are other places that have it too. Maybe just Smoky Mountain had it. I think that's just their exclusive. Let's go back there. Yeah, they just got that. Well, they got this one too. That's all right. So this has got the whole deployment. It's out of stock, so they make it with both the thumb studs and the hole. But yeah, I think it's a really good looking knife. I'd seen it at other places, or I thought I had, maybe on videos, but it struck me as a cool knife. My buddy A to Z EDC pre-ordered a knife that won't be here until late September. Let me find it. Let me find it. The Cortex XL. He pre-ordered this. And I so hope he gets it because I so want to review it. Look at that. That's a sweet looking knife. I don't know if y'all have seen the regular Cortex on videos. I'm sure you have. But yeah, I called him tonight and didn't get him because he's got so many knives that I really want to review. He's got several. Let's look at MCs. That's a good question. Let's do this. Whoops. 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 What was that? What was that? All right, let's do this. Had a little glitch, as I often do, because I need another monitor. It was a John caused glitch. And I don't know if y'all saw his video that he put up today. He's doing his 500,000/600,000 subscriber giveaway. $10,000 worth of knives. I haven't yet, but I would go check that out. And it looks like it's going to happen this Saturday night. So go jump in there. Here, I'll drop the link for you.
My service with Mint is...
I like MC. He was one of the... He actually brought me a lot of early knowledge. And I'll say knowledge. It was just maybe early hype that I really found to be... So that's the entry video for the 500,000 giveaway. But let me find out if his knife... I want to say I think it has a hollow grind. I'll probably get copyright struck for that, but I don't know why I couldn't shut that shit off. I hate metal music, but that's just me. Here we go.
Hey guys, subscribe for daily content.
All right.
Substantially less expensive option than DLC. I am very, very pleased with this, and this, like I said, but we'll also have an option at least for a satin version without the DLC. I am very, very pleased with this, and this, like I said, is about 98% of what it's going to be in the final, production version. I'm going to go over exactly what's going to be changing. But quick specs, I have a lot to say. I know a lot of you are like, man,
talk about
by showing it anytime anybody talks.
It looks hollow, doesn't it?
A lot about like the Umnumzon knives is how the lock side looks. A lot of people would say that this is really...
Go check it out, guys. I don't have the brain capacity to listen to that much. Let's see if they've got it on their site yet. Nope. But anyway, it's probably the coolest, one of the coolest ones I've seen. I think it's slick, and I love the fact that he's joined up with Kung Lu. I like Tri-States. Something about the blade to handle looks a little funky to me, and I don't know what that is. What's going on, Craig Vincent? Good to see you, brother. Yeah, I like it too, guys. I think it's a winner. And I'd love to see him do good because he's held out for a really long time. I think he adds so much to the community, whether you like him or you don't like him, or you just kind of lukewarm to him or don't watch him anymore. I think he offers a lot. But guys, we've been rocking here. Let's see, what are you talking about? I know the Cortex XL is hollow. The one I was curious about, Paul, and I think it is hollow. Let me go to his Instagram. Let's see if we can get more there. Hold on. We got a Middle Complex. And if I was really an aggressive social media person, which I'm not, I would go check out his TikTok to see how he's pulling that off to be not banned. Because he's evidently growing a lot over there as well. Let's see if this gives us a better idea. That's a hollow grind. I'm thinking that's hollow. Yeah, I like that very, very much. I love the spear point. Definitely a deep hollow or a hollow. And here's tri-states. And the only thing that looks weird to me on this one, I like the button actuated frame lock. I'd rather it just be a frame lock, but the blade looks too short to me. And I know it's not because you got the point. Yeah, if you're not following MC just to look at cool shit that most of us will never touch, I think it's cool. The Wii Ator beefer, let me check it out. Hold on one second. Wii Ator. NAF. All right, here we go, here we go, here we go. Oh yeah, it's definitely different. Let me pop this into a share mode. Boom, boom, boom. Very unique. I wonder if these are just to balance it out for weight. But it comes in a lot of different finishes. Here's the plain. See, that's the one I like. God, they've gotten expensive, haven't they? One of the best knives, though, literally, I've gotten from Wii is the where is it? The most recent one. Which is this Nefarious. This knife has such good snap. It's thin, drop shutty, has a great little low profile flipper. So I'm definitely support what Wii's doing. And I'm sure that's just map prices, that they'll probably be cheaper or a little less expensive. But hell, they're probably oh, the Axel Alpine V2 is the shit. It is one of my favorite EDC fixed blades, and I've been cutting so much cardboard with this, so much taped up cardboard, and I've only had to clean the blade. I don't know what the HRC is. They claim it, and I should know it, but I don't right off the top of my head. But I love the stonewash blade. I love the style. And guys, where is it? This little guy, in the fall, they're going to have the second 450 USA made Magna Cut lookouts. This is Big Idea design. This knife's smaller. So really just depending on what your jam is. But what I love about the Alpine is you can get this in they call this a Warncliffe, even though I think of it more of a sheep's foot, a drop point, or a Tonto. And I think they're doing some cool stuff. I got to check out the EMP EDC USA made Pulse, which Axial was the OEM on. and it had a Magna Cut blade that looked different than their other blades, but it was awesome. I've got a video up on it. I didn't have it for that long because it was my buddy's. Yeah, that's a great price, Stone Hands. I agree, and I think it's a cool looking knife. That is not my overall favorite tip style, even though that's not it. It's not a trailing point, but to me, it kind of has that vibe, even though it's not at all. And I love it. I mean, I do think it's a beautiful knife. I love the way the pivot collar's done. I think it's just a winner. But kids, I'm going to let y'all get to bed. It is 12:30. We've been on here a couple hours for just a random. I think that's a good time frame. But all I ask you guys is always, please, please, please. A, thank you for coming. Thank you for hanging. I don't want to be overexposed. I'll try to do these less, but I've been keeping really weird hours. So if I'm up and nothing's going on, you might see me pop up. But I appreciate y'all being here. I love each and every one of you. Please look out for the guy or gal to your left. Please look out for the guy or gal to your right. Look out for each other. Go forward with love in your heart. And always choose debate, not hate. I love you all. I appreciate you. Peace.